Hello, welcome back to the Founders Disco. I'm your host, Shuj, and we're here today with Brittany Ferri, the founder of Simplicity of Health. Hello, Brittany, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself and Simplicity of Health.
So I'm an occupational therapist by trade. I've been in the profession for about 10 years. A couple years into clinical care, I transitioned into what I'm doing now, which is Simplicity of Health. I aim to do a little bit of teletherapy at the beginning, but most of it is really health writing, clinical education. I create almost any piece of content under the sun related to the healthcare space, and I serve a lot of different organizations in the healthcare umbrella. And I've been doing that for 8 years now. That's been my primary role.
Amazing. That's really cool. We haven't had many professional content before, so this should be really fun.
Awesome.
Um, and when did the idea for this first start kicking around?
Truthfully, I say that really the catalyst for me was burnout. In the first couple years of the profession, I didn't have much mentorship from the people that I was working under, unfortunately, and the realities of the healthcare industry just kind of hit me hard. And at the same time, I was also dealing with some personal health struggles, which really just kind of put me in a space where I felt I needed to make a change. So I was dabbling in writing, more so on the leisure side, but a little bit professionally for new grad OT columns, things like that. And that ended up growing, and I ended up pursuing other writing opportunities after that, and here we are.
Yeah, amazing. Cool. And what made it important enough over the last 8 years, like you said, to actually stick with it?
I mean, when it boils down to it, it sounds simple, but I love what I do. I really like writing. That's not to say that I never liked patient care or don't enjoy the person facing side of healthcare. But I think the reach is just so much bigger with writing. I've interacted with people all over the globe, and I don't think I'll ever really know exactly how far my content has gone. And I think the mystery in that is just really cool.
Amazing. And if you were to sort of describe a little bit, like what kind of problem do you feel like you're solving and for who?
I think mostly the problem that I'm solving, I think with health writing, it initially ended up being aiming towards more patient education. So people who traditionally might be seeking therapy from other therapists, but it ended up being information more so for the general public, breaking down those difficult, hard to digest health concepts for the general public. So instead of it being more, treatment focused writing, it's ended up being much more in the preventative care space. So helping people do what they need to do on their own to take care of themselves, possibly without even seeing a health provider for something that's bugging them. So I would say that's definitely more the target audience these days.
Yeah. Amazing. And do you where do you see, I guess, your business at now from when you first started, like you said, casually writing to where you've gotten now?
Yeah, it's definitely grown in terms of, writing clients, the amount of work I'm doing. In the beginning, of course, it was a whole lot of development and building relationships and things like that. And actually, it's funny you mention that because within the last 2 months, I would say, I am shifting, probably the biggest shift since I started, more towards long form content. So I'm doing a lot more continuing education courses for therapists and much longer presentations for the general public rather than the shorter blog articles and things like that. So I'm kind of excited for the longer things. To me, it's always just, I don't know, like a big project you can just slowly eat away at. I really enjoy that sort of work.
If you can vision I guess, a point where your business would be, we use the term fully live, tomorrow, what kind of impact would that make on your business and as a consequence for everyone you serve, everyone who reads your content or interacts with it?
I think that would definitely take a lot of stress off me because I feel like being able to actualize all the ideas that I have and everything like would allow that reach to go so much further. I mean, to a point where I can't even necessarily visualize what that would be because, like I said, so big. So yeah, I mean that's the dream. That would be awesome. And I think a big part of that would be just expanding into other realms of content that I haven't even really explored too much. I mean, I guess more so on the video end rather than written.
Yeah, amazing. And coming into some of, I guess, tougher parts of the last 8 years, what's been, if you could describe one or two of the most frustrating parts of getting this business off the ground?
I would say my personal health. Like I said, one of the main drivers was my personal health, kind of aiming for more flexibility and more downtime for me. But of course, as I'm sure you and anybody else knows, being self-employed is not, oh, I can sit back, it's fine. In those early years, you really feel the need to just really push yourself to the limit. So it was very hard finding that balance in the early years, and I'm a little bit ashamed to say that I didn't find that balance in the early years. I didn't prioritize myself enough. But now I'm grateful to kind of be in a better place with that now, and just understanding that there is no my business without me because as a solo entrepreneur. So I'm better at taking those steps now.
Yeah, amazing. I guess, and do you really have a business if you don't burn it down once every couple of days?
Good way to put it.
And if you were to, like now, if you'd have to describe maybe a sticking point at the moment, whether it be a technology thing, a team thing, time, something else.
In terms of things that have helped me get to the point where I'm at.
Oh no, sorry. Where, like, if you were to say what your bottleneck at the moment?
Oh, okay. It's not an easy time to be in the writing space, unfortunately, whether that be established or new to the field, mostly because of AI, but also just the economy. There can be a lot of instability in that area. So it can be difficult. It's bringing out some imposter syndrome, I would say. People who actually have experience in the traditional experience in the writing realm are struggling to find work, and I still have some work, so it's bringing up some of those doubts. Do I even belong in the writing field since I'm not a writer by trade? Things like that can definitely cause issues over the past couple years because it's been difficult for writers, and it's unfortunate to see. I think a lot of people are experiencing that same bottleneck, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
it's just more of something to persevere through.
Yeah. So I don't know how much you know about what me and my company does, but we're in software, and we primarily build apps, but we do a bit of custom software here and there,
Okay.
and similar things. AI, economy in terms of like, what people are willing to invest, right? Whether it be
Right.
short term, long term, and see that vision for this, whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. And it's sticking power, right? Hanging in there and keep knocking on doors, keep,
Yeah.
serving until it comes.
Right.
So we've been in it about 6 years now. We're doing pretty good, especially from where we started. We've come leaps and leaps and bounds, but yeah, some days you're just like, man. And there is that question of like, because we use a lot of AI, but at the same time, an AI can't quite yet do what we do. But whether the outside world actually recognizes that, and they'll throw
Exactly.
something
That's the
in
battle.
ChatGPT and be like, oh, but AI can build this thing, like, all right, get it to do it, and I'll see you in a week. Yeah. Have you worked with any agencies or external contractors or anything like that before in terms of support within your?
Yeah, I've worked with a couple of PR agencies who had recently acquired clients in the health and wellness space, and they just didn't have the bandwidth or the expertise to really handle their writing. So I've worked with a few agencies like that, which has been great because it kind of relieves a little bit of burden off me to get to know. I mean, I'm working with, two new clients, so to speak, at that point. But it really involves getting to know one client's set of demands and expectations and all of that. So there's definitely nuances to it, but I do enjoy that kind of work. It always seems like there's more support.
And if you had unlimited time or money, what would already be done in your company?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good question. I have been working on a curriculum for the school system for a little while now, but it's, of course, one of those things that you're not making any money on it until it's up and running and out there. So, of course, unfortunately, it's one of those things that kind of falls to the bottom of the list, and, there's no shortage of other things to do these days. So that's been laggier than I would like it to be. So, yeah, in that perfect world you're talking about, I'd probably have 3 or 4 of them launched by now.
Fair enough. And is that something you're doing for yourself that you want to sort of release to schools, or is that something you have been sort of like, is that something you've been contracted for, or?
Yeah, I've partnered with a company that helps providers launch them, but it is a big passion project. It was an idea I had before I found them, and then it just happened. It was kind of a serendipitous meeting, and I ended up bringing that up to them, and they were really happy to help me with it.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. And so there's that hanging about there in the realm. What's the next milestone you're working towards?
The curriculum is pretty close to being done, so I would say that's probably the next biggest. I'm also pursuing a certification within the next couple of months to help therapists with clinical documentation. So kind of taking my, we'll call it non-clinical writing, and kind of bringing it back into the clinical space, and making it more of, I guess, a professional specialization, we'll call it. And that's a service that I have not offered yet, so I'm kind of excited to be able to grow the business in that way in the next year or so.
Yeah, amazing. That sounds really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, really cool. I do a lot of work in the disability space, and have a bit of background with hospitals and medical in general, and like I can see a lot of what you're describing. I can see it in action, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In the explainers that you have to read through, and just all of those little bits and bobs here and there that someone has to put together, right?
Yeah.
To make it understandable, and yeah, it's really cool. What kind of support do you think would accelerate those milestones the most?
I mean, unlimited time would be awesome, right? I could do so much with unlimited time, as could probably everybody else, right? I think probably getting settled in my newer sort of product line, so to speak. I'm doing more of the long-form content now, like I mentioned. Getting more settled with getting some of that out there, I think would allow me to shift more to the documentation improvement in the next few months. So I think just getting a little bit more established, which is kind of a catch-all, because I've been going for 8 years and it still feels like in some ways you're waiting to get established in certain areas, but that's just how it is, I guess.
Yeah. Do you find you focus on one particular element at a time, or do you just try and be out there as much as possible and hope that things come towards you?
I would say the first phase of my business was more so the latter. I think I was trying to do a little bit too much. Just trying to find your footing and where where exactly the path of your business is going to take. And so I don't think that was a bad thing necessarily, but at this point, I think I'm like slowing down more and getting into the groove of, okay, this is really what I want the vision to be, and this is where I really want to spend most of my time, and where I think it's most beneficial to the world too. So I think that's what's led me off on this direction.
Yeah. And let's jump into the lightning round. What's the best piece of advice you've received when trying to build something new?
Don't put yourself in a box. I had a professor who always stressed the importance of not letting people say what OTs can or cannot do, which I think is very important for us as generalist providers who sometimes are a little too flexible.
Cool. Yeah, my son saw an OT for quite some time when he was going through some stuff in babyhood. Yeah, it was very interesting to be a part of that. I'd never experienced it before. And yeah, you guys do a lot.
A
Yeah.
blessing and a curse of the profession.
Yeah. Did you work with a lot of kids mainly, or adults, or just everybody?
I worked mostly with adults in the mental health space for the few years that I was practicing full time.
Cool, cool. Sounds like, yeah, that'd be very typical. If you were in Australia, we'd probably run into each other a lot. Because a lot of the people that we help need services like, that, OTs, physios,
Okay.
for various different treatments that they might be going through. But I'm in a little country town, so it's almost impossible to get those appointments, and it's a tricky space.
Yeah, rural health can be difficult.
Yeah, yeah. Any advice you'd give to someone starting out with an idea but isn't sure where to begin?
Learn all you can. And that really just doesn't apply to the traditional routes. It doesn't mean, take courses and get certifications and go back to school more. It just means learn all you can, whether it's, having kind of like a brainstorming session with somebody who has experience in that area, reading articles, message boards, journal articles, if that is helpful. Just take in all that you can and really don't say no to those opportunities.
Being curious gets us so far.
Yeah.
Push one boundary after, I want to do this thing, I can't get it done. What do I need to learn to get that thing, And you end up just chipping away real slow, and after a year, you're like, man, can't
And it
believe I was
probably
that
helps you
guy.
find out. Oh, sorry. It probably helps you find out things that you didn't even know you wanted to know in the process. So,
Absolutely. It opens up options, right? And then when you have options, you can create even more.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And where can people find out more about you and the work you do?
I'm on LinkedIn. I post a lot of the work that I publish there. I also have a website, www.simplicityofhealth.com, and that's, I would say that's a more complete view of what I'm doing. It's sometimes a little hard to find all the little caves I'm working in, but website's a good way to do that.
Amazing. I was checking it out before. You've published a lot of things, content and articles and all sorts of things. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Us there. And I'll have all of your information linked underneath everywhere we publish. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Hopefully picked up something on how to get a content career up and running without YouTube in 2025. Thanks again, Brittany.
Thank you.